What's up, my people? Let's break down how to raise your frequency, not your voice. How to raise your frequency, waves, verbs, vibration, not your voice. Meaning, how to emit your frequency, how to establish a ruling disposition. So that way you're sending out more energy than receiving. So therefore you're getting out of neediness. You're in a space or in a place where you're able to draw things to you that you need to build, to establish, to be you. Instead of looking outside of yourself, you're able to continue to maintain or look inside of yourself. So how to raise your frequency, waves, verbs, and vibration. You guys know I've been in this space. Really, we all are unknowingly in the space where we are being our true authentic self. But we don't really know what that looks like. Meaning, we're not really taught how to see our own worth and our own value. We're taught to look outside of ourselves. We're raised, you're born into this world, and you are dependent upon your parents, or you're dependent upon your caregiver. And that dependency should end at a specific point in time where you become independent, where you become your own generator, your own operator, your own director. There should come a time when you no longer need a teacher. You don't need to be taught. You now are the teacher. And when you get to that space of awareness where you realize that, okay, I am a single standing column of waves that have solidified into one specific particle or purpose. So where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. All my life I've been doing the same thing. I didn't have purpose. I found purpose. Now I talk about purpose. I've been doing the same thing. You've been doing the same thing too. But it's difficult for you to see you. I mean, not you personally, but people you know. And the reason that I know is because everybody that I talk to, bar none, 100%, everybody is in the same place. Some people have just mastered the art and the science of being fake or being a good actor. We are all actors from the perspective of you find a need and you fill it. It may or may not be your purpose. But you see that there's a need. There's a need for doctors. So you go to school to become a doctor. You may see that there's a need for lawyers. So you go to school to become a lawyer. There may be a need. So we find needs. That has nothing to do with your purpose, though. See, purpose is not what you do. Purpose is who you be. Like my eyeballs have a purpose. They're designed to bring in light, not to interpret it. The light, the electricity, the magnetism, the electromagnetic spectrum is actually interpreted by the brain. But it comes in through the pupils and through the eyes. So that's the specific purpose. The light, the eyes are not designed by God to interpret the light. It's designed by God to channel the light. The light is designed to be interpreted by the brain. But what if the brain and the eyeball got mixed up? What if they did not know? And that's what's wrong with the average Alakiblan. That's what I do for a living. Is we're so powerful and we're so efficient. Technically, we could do anything that we want to be and do. But it becomes easier when you're able to find purpose. So purpose is innate. It's not learned. It's the ability to oscillate and vibrate in a specific kurka or a particular circle. And so your job is to be able to naturally see the worth and value in who you be. It's the hardest thing on earth to do is to see your own worth and value. So we find more worth and value in seeing and being someone else than we do in seeing and being ourselves. So what I do for a living encourage people to be themselves. That simply means you have to establish one single desire. And if you notice, out of everything that I do, I have one single desire: teach. Why? The day that I was born, from a numerical perspective, comes out to a teacher. That's why I have the title, started the business, and I branded MT33, Master Teacher 33. Because the day that I was born equals the number 33. Has nothing to do with a lot of the other emphasis and references to the number 33. It just happened to be, it could have been the number 19. It just happened, it could have been the number 20. It's just the date. That's called life path. So you could be a psychopath or you could be a sociopath if you live your life without your life path. So 99.99% of the Keep-It-Ons that I talk to, they're not on the right path. Now, it's not rocket science, but it is. Because we don't really understand the power of numbers. We don't really understand, because it's not really taught. Even at my level of awareness, there's still more to learn about numbers. Because numbers are beyond our ability to understand. Because we don't really understand the esoteric, the true hidden metaphysical meaning. So when we talk about the hidden, esoteric meaning, or the esoteric origins, or the metaphysics. So when we look at the esoteric meaning, origins, and metaphysics, or metamorpho, as it talked about in the Greek, the metaphysics of numbers and letters, because numbers and letters, they are used to channel, control unlimited energy and chi, what we call God. And so when we talk about, there's two systems at play on this planet. The first system is spirit. The second system is flesh. So when we look at the esoteric, which really simply means wisdom, that's usually not discussed openly. It's not that it's not known, it's just it means inner circle. It has to do with things that are not traditionally promoted. Not because they're hidden, not because they're bad, not because they're secret, just because it's not something that, helps you pay your light bill on time. In other words, it's not really promoted. And so when we look at the way by which all of the way that we establish consciousness, like what is consciousness? Well, without language, it's impossible to even be conscious, because consciousness, just by when we look at it, it's the awareness, it's the perception, it's the ability to perceive. And so when we talk about, understanding consciousness, awareness, all of the stuff that I talk about, these are deep topics, because it delves into the true structure of reality. So when we're talking about raising your frequency, we're talking about structuring your reality. We're talking about structuring your reality. We're talking about identifying the symbols of functionality. What allows you to function? So that's where numbers and letters come in, because that gives us definitions. So without definitions, we can't really assign meaning. So we can't assign value. So then we don't have the ability to interpret. So all of this, although it may not seem like it's important, this is the game. The most important thing on the planet is what shapes your perception, or who. So there's a narrative that's being promoted. The narrative that's being promoted shapes your perception. It shapes your perception shapes and creates your reality. That's why this is so important. The most important thing on the planet is singleness of mind. But you cannot establish a singleness of mind until you understand in your own inner circle. That's what he talked about inside the Gospel of Thomas. That's what everything on this planet, there's a war going on for consciousness. Consciousness is who structures, who assigns meaning, Who determines the definitions of the words that you are using? Who changes the Greco-Roman calendar that we have right now? Wasn't the original calendar. So who changes times and seasons? Who determines the nature of your reality? Who? And what gave and who put or who gave that individual that power? So let's look at what we have right now with the current reality. So who gave the current, let's use again, just looking at politics, who gave that political, well, it's supposed to be we voted, we put a president in office, and then that person is supposed to represent the people, right? So, hey, what's up, Sister Carol? And so what happens is they don't represent they don't have my best interest in heart because they don't understand my culture. They don't understand my perspective and my awareness, so there's no way they can represent me. So when we're talking about the fact that you have to raise your energy, not your voice, you have to raise your consciousness. You have to expand your awareness. There's nothing wrong with marching and picketing and doing, but make sure that the doing comes from thinking. Thinking doesn't come from doing. Language shapes perception. Period. If there is no language, then we don't have accessibility to perception, consciousness, and awareness. And without that perception, without that access to consciousness, without access to awareness, so we have no access. The dominant culture is dominant because they limit it and they control your access to transformative information. Because if you truly had access to all the known information, all history, real, true, authentic history, then you would be able to change your perspective. We had the library in Alexandria that was supposed to be burnt down, the Egyptian mystery schools, the Hebrew Kabbalah, the original Paleo-Hebrew, the Ethiopian Bible, the Ethiopian calendar, Gnosticism, hermeneutics. All of these are different systems. So when we look at the fact that we have limited access, then we got limited chi. We got limited energy. And so we raise our voice out of frustration. So people talk loud, people get angry, people get upset when they feel limited, when they feel controlled, when they feel that they really don't have a say-so in changing their reality by solving the problems. And so when we talk about understanding that matter is the result of data. If I get more data, I get more matter. So to raise your frequency, the waves, verbs, and vibrations, those are all just another way of talking about consciousness. Consciousness is the result of the metaphysics of numbers. Numbers, again, is the sigils. It's the symbols that are being used to control chi. So it channels. So letters and numbers are used to channel energy. So if you don't know letters and numbers, like the people who have a greater command over letters and numbers, communication, those people usually make the most money. Now you don't have to go as deep into understanding numerology and all stuff. Like I'm a 6, but also I'm a 3. 3, 3, 6. That represents harmony. It represents balance. It represents responsibility. It represents love, beauty, integrity. All of those are the attributes and characteristics of my purpose. So that's my purpose. My purpose is found inside of the sound of the frequencies that's being emitted by the numbers that make up the letters. So that is gematria, numerology. That's theomathematics. That's biblical alphanumerics. So words have a numerical value that emit or contain an electrical magnetic frequency. This is your energetic aura. So your aura is established by letters. So your thought is structured by letters. How you think is structured by language. It's structured by words. So language programs perception, and perception determines behavior. So when you understand how do you raise your language. What does that mean? That means learn, expand your consciousness. That's why I have the 1,000 books for $1,000 because it gives you access to language. That's all words. So I put a bunch of words inside of these books. All of these words expand and increase your awareness and your perception. It gives you a greater depth. It gives you a greater awareness. And that greater awareness gives you a greater perception, which gives you greater control over your behavior. Because you see that I understand cause and effect. So I'm not going to cause a certain effect that I don't want this effect, so I'm not going to cause it. So I'm not going to do certain behavior because I don't want certain results. Because I understand how and why knowledge was restricted and reserved for certain people, because they understood the power that comes from this knowledge. Because if you put knowledge in the hands of the wrong people, then those people, again, don't have the mental capacity by which to use that level of knowledge. And so when we talk about that, numbers help to stabilize or destabilize systems, if you understand numbers. So power without maturity creates chaos. Power without maturity creates chaos. Power without maturity creates chaos. That's why we have a lot of chaos. Because we have people who have power, but they don't have maturity. So power without maturity creates chaos. You can always see it. And so what I do is I've learned to structure. I have power, and I'm able to structure or use that power, because power comes from knowledge. But knowledge has to be applied. So there's thought, feeling, action. So you take no action if you have no feeling. You establish no feeling if you have no thought. So you understand everything is the result of thought. That's like the Bible says, as a man thinketh. So everything is about thought. So you must establish, like the book Think and Grow Rich says, you must establish singleness of thought to raise your frequency, to raise your vibration, so that way you're always cool, calm, collected. You're never angry. You're never upset. You don't allow no monkey, no rabbit, and no squirrel, no Tommy Hill figure-wearing mother to push your buttons. You are always in a zen state. Why? You have awareness. You have thoughts. Thought creates cool, calm, and collective. You know there's always a ram in the bush. You know there's always a way of escape. You know that where there's a will, there's a way. You know. You don't wish, you don't hope, you don't ponder. You know. So you establish singleness of mind. Now, how do you want to express, expose, and expand your consciousness and your awareness? How do you want to solve that problem that you have today? It's done unto you as you believe. But you got to establish a belief. And that belief must be devoid of contradictory thought. So once you establish the belief, I'm going to be healthy, I'm going to be wealthy, I'm going to be wise, I'm going to be in great relations with myself, with my God, and with others. When you establish that belief, then you create a feeling. When you create the feeling, then you take action to manifest the belief. Why? Faith without works is dead. Thought without action is dead. I know a lot of people have a lot of thought, they have a lot of feeling, but they'll take no action. That's power without maturity, which creates chaos. Power without maturity creates chaos. So my 1,000 for 1,000 is a system that creates a community. There's nothing more important. People ask me, why do I do these free shows? I do these free shows to build and to connect with people of like mind. Because when you connect with someone of a like mind, one standing alone is easily defeated, but two standing back to back can conquer. A three-stranded cord is not easily broken. So there's power in unity. So when we build community, we build unity through neuroscience and through linguistics and through psychology, through theology, through biology. All of these are systems of learning. These are all systems of expanding consciousness. This is the way that we are able to construct. So numbers are the architect or the architecture of reality. So are letters. Numbers help construct this material realm. Letters do the same thing. But when we take numbers and letters and create words, we create worlds. So our words, like it says in Hebrews, the word create the world. Words create world. In the beginning was the word. So words create world. Words are like programs. So to raise their frequency, to raise your vibration, select high frequency, high vibration words. So that in order for you to raise your frequency instead of your voice, a lot of people can yell and get angry and get upset when things are not going their way, but they don't have the vocabulary by which to remain calm. Because remember, as I said at the beginning, anytime you have somebody who has power without purpose, you have chaos. What's up, Dr. Khalif? And so without purpose, abuse is inevitable. There's a purpose, there's a meaning, there's a reason. Without why, you can't fly. And so what's going on is we are seeing a lot of melanated individuals, especially with the current climate. And this climate, the current reality, is controlling their mentality because of the lack of understanding of the most fundamental and the most powerful thing on the planet, and that is your authority. What is authority? Authority is your ability to exercise a certain amount of power, which is the result of a certain choice. And so when I talk about establishing, your job is to connect with people after you connect with yourself. So you cannot connect with anyone else until you connect with yourself. That's how you create a spirit. Spirits are not mystical. Numerology and spirituality control and create reality. When you understand how numerology and spirituality, when they come together, because one is spirit, the other is flesh. So all it is free, unlimited power that has been structured, that has been put inside of a box or a body. That's the flesh. So we are spirits, but we are trapped inside of bodies. So our job is to take our spirit, elevate our spirit by elevating our consciousness so we can control our bodies, so that we can control our behavior. We do that through thought, by establishing high quality thoughts. Those high quality thoughts, again, creates higher electrical magnetic frequencies, aura, chi, prana, a signal. So I have my own energy signature. You got yours. So when your energy signature becomes so powerful that you start to emit more, you send out more energy than you receive. Bam. Now you are ready. You don't have to raise your voice because you've learned how to raise your energy, your inner chi. And you raise your energy by establishing singleness of mind. The moment that you establish singleness of mind, now you must become immersed. You must become possessed. You must become obsessed with that singleness of mind. Whatever it is, as long as it doesn't hurt, harm, or defraud anybody else. Because if it's based upon your purpose, so when you select a thought that selects you, so you can't be anything that you want to be. You can, but you can't. You can only be what you've been designed and gifted by source to be. Now, we do know those are limits, those are labels, those are constructs for the flesh. So that's the way the flesh should act. There's no limits, there's no construct for the spirit. The spirit is all knowing, all power, all present, all simple, all loving. The spirit is Hebrews 4:12. It's the word of God. It's alive. It's powerful. Sharper than any two-edged sword. It has the ability to divide spirit, soul, joints, and marrow, and is a discerner of the thought and the intent of the heart. Spirit is a 5-dimensional frequency, wave, verbal vibration. That's 5D. So 5 dimensions or 5D, some say 9 chi, whatever, some say 12. Hey, get in where you fit in. But when you're operating at that level of awareness, again, on that level, there is no devil. What does that mean? The devil simply means that you don't have the ability to solve problems. Because again, when you over and understand that even when you're not solving the problem, quote unquote, you are solving the problem. Because you're able to maintain peace of mind. You're able to maintain the brain. Because you know that Nothing in this reality is permanent. So now you have to create a dominant mental disposition. You must create a ruling disposition. You have to become a standalone, monolithic frequency generator. I talked about that yesterday. So when you become a standalone, monotheistic one, hero is with the Lord your God is one. So the brain manifests one thing at a time. So the biggest mistake that a lot of people make is they got too many minds. A double-minded man will not receive anything from source, according to the book of James. So when you understand, okay, I gotta collapse one wave at a time. So whether that wave be financial, whether that wave be health, whether that wave be wisdom, whether that wave be relationships, what is the most pressing problem? So whatever the most pressing problem, tweak it. Turn that into the most profitable product. So how do you turn your most pressing problem into your most profitable product? By sharing your share. Go into and look at the details of the problem, because the problem contains the solution. The problem is the solution, because it's like if you take an ink pen. So if you look at the ink pen, this is where the ink comes out. This is where the ink goes in. This is the bottom. This is the top. But notice it's all one. So let's say this is hot and this is cold. So hot and cold is on the same plane. It's still the same. Hot and cold are exactly the same. They're just different points on one plane. Hot and cold are the exact same thing. Rich and poor are the exact same thing. Happy and sad is the exact same thing. Fat and skinny is the exact same thing. This is fat. This is skinny. The difference between fat and skinny is different points on the same line. Different points on the same line. Different points on the same line. Temperature is the same thing. Temperatures are different degrees on the same line. So when you understand that everything is the same, it's just different points. This is one point, this is another point, but it's still one pen. Reality is no different. So rich people and poor people are exactly the same. The only difference is points. Points are nothing but a collapsed frequency. Points are nothing but where attention goes. So rich people, attention goes here. Poor people, attention goes here. So when you expand your attention, when you zoom out and then zoom in, how do you zoom in? Select one point. So a poor person has selected to look at the entire pen. A rich person has selected to look at the point on the pen where all of the wealth is at. Because rich, poor, happy, sad, fat, skinny, up, down. One different point, different perspective, different awareness. How do you increase your awareness? Changing your thought. How do you change your thought? You change your thoughts based upon the destination that you want to manifest. How do you manifest? There's really no such thing as manifest, because you're not really manifesting anything. You're just aligning with something that already exists. And so when we really, really delve into this and really look at what I'm saying, it really changes your entire life, because you control where your attention goes. Because energy flows where attention goes. And you control your attention. So energy flows where attention goes. So how do you increase your attention? How do you expand your consciousness? How do you increase your frequencies, your waves, your verbs, your vibration? By selecting a desired output. How do you know how do you know when you arrived at something if you have never defined something? Whoever determines the definitions of the words that you use determine the quality of the life that you live. Whoever determines the definitions of the words that you use determines the quality of the life that you live. How I define wealth and how you define wealth determines whether or not you receive and achieve wealth. So I define wealth as freedom. I define wealth as ability to be able to generate, operate, and direct. I define wealth based upon my numbers. Since my numbers are 336, that defined wealth. That defines wealth for me. So my definition of wealth is creative creator. So I'm a creative creator. And then I'm a creative creator who chooses to express his creations through the art of communication. So I'm a creative creator who communicates. In exchange for the creative creation that I have communicated, I've chosen to receive payment in the form of this thing that we call money, because money is a medium of exchange. So I get paid for my creative creation that I communicate in the form of language, in the form of writing. So I've written all of these books. I took what I've creatively created and I put it into a product, service, or information that benefits other people more than it benefits me. So now all I do is, do I see worth and value in my creative expressions? Absolutely. That's why I charge a fee for it. Because a workman is worthy of his wages. So all I do is maintain. I remove contradictory thoughts that says that you don't deserve to get paid for your creation. Because some people believe that. I don't. So I don't hang around with people who are slackers, who are takers, who are leeches, or who are energy vampires who want something for nothing. Since I put time and I put my energy, I put my labor into creating 1,000 books. Now you can do the exact same thing. So why did I write? Now somebody else is, building, they are building houses. Somebody else is, an aircraft mechanic. Somebody else is right now at a hospital, taking somebody's blood pressure. Somebody else is a plumber. So you get to choose how you structure your energy and what product, service, information that you put your energy into so that you can receive an exchange. So you receive equal value. Your service in life determines your reward. Your rewards in life can never exceed your service. So if you have a small service, you have a small reward. Your rewards in life are equal to your service. So if you want great reward, then you should provide great service. Because you receive, it is done unto you as you believe. Give, and it shall be given. Whatever degree that you give, that same degree. So your rewards in life always equal your service. So when I see people who have a small reward, I know that they got a small service, because universal spiritual law says, give, and it shall be given. Whatever degree that you give, that same degree. So to him that has, more shall be given. So when you want to increase, don't raise your voice, don't get mad, don't picket, don't march, don't do none of that. If you want to increase your value, if you want to change anything in your life, you don't change your life by starting externally. You change your life by starting internally. Increase your service to others. When you increase your service, you increase your value. If you have no value, you're not an asset. You're a liability. See, liabilities take, assets add. It's easy to tell whether you're a liability or an asset. So your job is to do what? Put yourself in a space, but it all starts with what? Worth and value, self-worth. Because if there's self-worth, there's no net worth. So your net worth is determined by your self-worth. That's the whole point of the Diakonia. That's the whole point of understanding who's and who you are. Because when you really, really, really go within, you see that the kingdom of God is within, like the Bible says. So when you understand that greater is he that's in me than he that's in the world, when you really start to understand that you're fearfully and wonderfully made, God don't make junk, bro. God don't make junk. So you can't be broke. You can't be sick. You can't be none of this stuff that is happening to the average melanated individual. Self-induced. It's mind control. It's a lack of awareness of the true worth and value of the self. Because God put himself inside of you. He's operating as you, manifesting him, her, or himself through you. What's up, brother Israel? What's going on, my brother? And so when you get to this level of awareness, brothers and sisters, now you become a generator, a operator, and a director, a God. You're not the big one, you're the little one. You're a miniature. Now you are an imitator. Now you just don't worship Yahushua the HaMashiach. Now you are an ambassador. You are a representative. That means that you carry yourself as an individual expression of source code on earth. Now, when you walk, when you talk, you walk, and when you talk and when you speak as one having authority. Because your authority comes from what? Your identity. So if you got a wrong identity, then you have the wrong authority. So the most people, they don't have a proper ID. Like if you don't have an ID card, you can't get in. Like if you have a driver's license, technically you can't drive. Let's say if you're working at a major, corporation, you got to scan your badge to unlock the building to go into work. So if you don't have a badge to work at ABC Incorporated, you just want to get in. Well, you need a badge. You need an ID. Same thing in the spirit realm. So you can't access wealth. You can't access health. You can't access wisdom. You can't access great relationships without a proper ID. So your job is to get your identity. You have to establish your identity. So who are you? Who are you? Well, you're an individual expression of God on earth. Okay, but what does that mean though? Well, Yahushua the HaMashiach said, when you've seen me, you've seen the Father. Because me and the Father are one. Well, so are you. Because Yahushua said that, hey, I'm your elder brother. Yahushua said that he came that you may have life and life more abundantly. Yahushua said the things that I have done, you shall do. So you're supposed to be doing the same thing that Jesus or Yahushua the HaMashiach did, according to the script. But if you don't see yourself as an individual expression of God on earth, you can't be yourself. So you got to be fake. You got to be artificial. Now, see, if you don't dare to be you, then you're going to die a copy. See, you can't be somebody else because everybody else is already taken. So I can't be, I can't be T.D. Jakes. I can't be Creflo Dollar. I can't be Joel Osteen. I can't be none of those other people. Why? Because those identities are already taken. Notice that everybody already has an identity. So either you have to choose yourself. Do you know most people don't want to be themselves? Why? Most people see more value in stuff. That's why we worship things outside of the self. So remember, energy flows where attention goes. So when you look up to, or you look down. So I don't look up and I don't look down. I look across. So I look Negroes eyeball to eyeball. Why? Nobody's greater, nobody's less than. We are the same. So when you understand that your purpose and your destiny and your opinion and your reality is yours, it's not worse and it's not better. We all see the world the way that we are. We don't see the world the way that it is. It's not bad, it's not good. That's just the way we're designed. So now that I become comfortable in my own skin, you have to become comfortable in your own skin. When you become comfortable in your own skin, what happens? That's when you win. Because you start to emit an aura. So as I said at the beginning, the only thing that matters in this reality is that when you show up wherever you go, you have worth and value. Why? Because the universe doesn't respect anything but itself. So God only sees God. God only sees him, her, or itself. So if you don't show up as God, then you're not recognized by God. I know it's contrary to your theology, overstand. But it's just like if you from the hood, if you go to the hood and you're not from the hood, what happens? It's like in the wild. Why don't albino tigers, lions, why do they get attacked in the wild? So if a lion sees a lion that is, which happens in the wild, that's born white. For whatever reasons, all the other lions attack that lion. Why? Because it's different. It doesn't look like it's a part of the group. So the universe, your body does the same thing. The white blood cells attacks anything in the body that is foreign, that's not a part of the body. Same thing happens in the spirit realm. So most people are not a part of the body. Most people may be religious, but they're not spiritual. So if you don't understand spiritual, what does it mean? So a spirit is a ruling disposition. A spirit is a dominant. That's what a spirit is. Because you can have a spirit of blank, just fill it in. So once you establish a spirit, which is a mental disposition, which is a aura, which is your chi, which is your prana, which is the way that it's the energy that shows up before you do. So when you go somewhere, your energy shows up way before you do. The question is, what type of energy are you exuding? Is it confidence? Is it assurance? Is it awareness? Is it discernment? Is it love? Is it joy? Is it peace? Is it gentleness? Is it meekness? Is it self-control? Are you showing up in fear? Are you showing up with doubt? Are you showing up with anger? Are you showing up with lust? Are you showing up with jealousy? Are you showing up with strife? Are you showing up in the fruit of the spirit? Or are you showing up in the fruit of the flesh? How do you carry yourself? What is the aura that you're emitting? Because your aura is established by your most predominant thoughts. So if I was in your head, what thoughts are dominant? So all day today, what thought are you thinking? So are you able to bring every thought into captivity and see if it's taking you in the direction of God? That's what the Bible says. You're supposed to bring every thought into captivity. The Bible doesn't even tell you what to think on. It says, think on these things. So when you over and understand, thoughts create feelings. Feelings determine behavior or actions. So wrong behavior, wrong feelings. Wrong feelings, wrong thoughts. Replace those thoughts. How do you do that? Find the thoughts. At least this is how I know how to do it. Find the thoughts that are predetermined. What are predetermined thoughts? I'm automatically a truthologist. I don't have to think about it. I'm automatically drawing the truth. I'm automatically a researchologist. I don't have to think about it. I'm automatically drawn to question since I was a kid. When I was born, my parents would say something. I used to get in trouble all the time because I asked too many questions. I remember in most black households, when you grow up, the way I grew up, my purpose got me in trouble all the time. Because I grew up and I was born with the gift of asking questions. So I used to ask my dad all the time, hey, well, why are we doing this? What's up, Colette? What's up, family? How you doing, sis? So I used to always ask a bunch of questions. You know what happens? Boy, you do it because I told you to. Stop asking questions. Now I get paid to ask questions. So just like me, you've been doing your purpose your whole life. You just haven't gotten paid for it. Your job is to do what? Monetize your purpose. Because where purpose is not known, jobs are inevitable. You gotta go get a job. Job is just over broke. So remember, purpose. You've been doing it your whole life. You just been getting beat for your purpose instead of getting paid for your purpose. So I came out the womb with discernment. But how was it shown? In the form of ignorance. See, you're operating in the dark side of your gift when you're young. When you're a child, you don't really know your gift, so you stay in the dark. So what is the opposite of a teacher? If I'm a teacher, I was born there, what was the opposite of a teacher? A student. That's why I've been studying all this time. So it's easy now. Again, it's in your numbers. As I said before, that's why I do number reports. Because numbers don't lie. People do, numbers don't. 2 plus 2 always equals 4. Right, Coet? Coet tell you. Numbers don't lie. Now, people lie, but numbers don't. Life is simple, but we make it hard. And the reason that we make it hard, because it tells us in the Bible, Hosea 4:6, my people perish for lack of knowledge. It didn't say that my people perish because of demons and devils and all this other stuff. All that other stuff exists. But the reason that we struggle is because of a lack of knowledge. The inability, again, to see value in knowledge. It's not bad, it's not good, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. It's difficult to see value in yourself. It's easier to see value in someone else than it is to see value inside of yourself. And so it's easier to support someone else than it is to support yourself. So it's easier to raise someone else's frequency than it is to raise your own frequency. Because we were to put our time and our attention and our money into some other person, some other place, and to some other thing, not the self. Why? There's no value in the self. Well, I'm going to tell you that there is. Because you're fearfully and wonderfully made in the image and likeness of your Heavenly Father. Brothers and sisters, as always, it's an honor and a privilege to be able to break bread with you every single day. Please check out the website, masterteacher33.com. Click on the link that says 1,000 for 1,000. Take advantage of this opportunity to expand your consciousness. Because again, if you have the consciousness, if you have the awareness of an elephant, what's up, Brother Mwanga? Versus the consciousness and the awareness of an ant, your perspective, your viewpoint, the higher up the eagle supposedly flies the highest. So the viewpoint, the perspective, the awareness of an eagle versus the viewpoint, the awareness, vision, and perspective of an ant is different. It's not better. It's not worse. It's just different. The eagle has he has more awareness because of the vision. The higher up you go, the more you see. The lower down you go, the less you see. The same way as I talked about with this ink pen. There's 2 points, but there's only one pen. When you understand this is hot and this is cold, but they both exist on the same plane. This is up and this is down. This is fat and this is skinny. This is rich and this is poor. Notice they both are different points on the same plane. When that clicks, when you understand rich and poor are both on the same plane. To go from rich to poor, from poor to rich, all you got to do is change your perspective. When you expand and see, they both are the same. They're just different points, different perspectives, different degrees of awareness. Change your point, change your perspective, change your degree of awareness by changing your vocabulary, by changing your attention, by changing your focus, by changing your language, by expanding your awareness, by number one, selecting singleness of mind. Select one goal at a time. Immerse your brain and put all of your emotion into how it would feel with you in that. When you pray, pray as one believing. So faith is acting as if. Number one, define what your goal is, what your dream, what you want to manifest. Number two, feel and act like you already have it. And number three, remove all doubt, all fear, and all contradictory thought. If you do those three things every single day, collapse your wave onto one specific particle, maintain the feeling, the emotion of already having that one specific particle, remove all people, including your own self, doubt, remove all doubt, act as if, walk in faith, walk in confidence. I already am. I'm not trying to get, I already have. Because to him that has, more shall be given. It's your boy, Dr. Will Rogers. Make sure you take advantage of the 1,000 books for $1,000. Check out the website, masterteacher30.com. God bless.